Reconnect and heal today. Welcome to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, and it is my pleasure to be with you again today. So I am so excited to introduce you to my guest, Lisa Williams. She's a world-renowned medium and a clairvoyant. Can you believe I fumbled that word of all words? Clairvoyant, with an amazing ability to communicate with those who have left their bodies. She was born in England, and she was discovered by Merv Griffin and introduced to audiences through 2 seasons of her own hit show, Lisa Williams' Life Among the Dead, along with Voices from the Other Side and Lisa Williams Live. She's also appeared on many TV shows, including Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Anderson Cooper, Oprah, The Ricky Lake Show, Good Morning America, The Today Show, Larry King Live, and Jimmy Kimmel Live. And she's performed in front of large audiences worldwide. She offers workshops and courses in mediumship, developing psychic ability, intuition, and meditation. In 2013, she launched the Lisa Williams International School of Spiritual Development, and through her school, she delivers classes with her own unique and very hands-on method of teaching. Through the school, Lisa offers access to her personally trained and certified mediums and psychics who are part of her directory. She's published her own intuitive soul oracle cards to open up our intuitive gifts and develop the psychic senses. She writes about her life and spiritual teachings on her website, lisawilliams.com. She's an accomplished author of books on mediumship and spirituality, including Survival of the Soul and Life Among the Dead. Recently published her book for beginners to mediumship, Was That a Sign from Heaven? And is currently writing a new book on the topic of soulmates and soul connections. She lives in Lilydale, New York, the world's home of spiritualism, with her son Charlie and their 2 dogs, and she's vice president of the Lilydale Assembly and a board member of the Church of the Living Spirit. So, Lisa, are you with me, or did that beautiful introduction just make you swoon and enter spirit immediately?
Oh, my gosh. You know, it's only when someone reads an introduction for me, I'm like, wow, have I done all of that? It's kind of
I know. I know. It's a total ego wall moment, you know?
Oh, my gosh, it really is. But, I just like most of us in this world, I just tend to do my thing and then move on to the next thing and the next thing. So I tend not to store it. And it's only when we listen back to it and I go, wow, okay, yeah, I kind of did that. It's crazy. So
it's awesome. And, when I look at your photo, I think you look so young. And and being on the Merv Griffin show, I mean, Merv was on really a long time ago. He was on in the 70s, right?
Yeah, he was. But he actually brought me over to America. His show had stopped at that point, and I was introduced to him through someone who worked for him, and he was doing a TV show about psychics and mediums and everything else, and I had no idea who he was. And so she just said, I've got the perfect person, I think, who would love to meet you. And I said, who's that? She said, Merv Griffin. I went, who's he? And she said, oh, my gosh, you don't know Merv? And I'm like, no, I'm English. And so it was kind of a funny thing. And Merv Griffin was just an incredible guy. So he created my TV show around me. He was my producer. And what an amazing man.
Oh, how marvelous. I always felt he had a beautiful energy. He's no longer in a body, right?
No, he passed away about 9 years ago, probably 10 years ago now. Just, oh, wow. I mean, the man, brilliant man, but just one of life's nice people, too. And I have many stories, many fond stories of Merv, and he was just one of those lovely guys that you just, like a grandfather, just like a grandfather. So for me, I'm very blessed that I actually got to know him personally.
Wonderful. So, because this is our first time meeting, even though, we have a lot of intersections in our life, because, when I taught at Lilydale last year, I guess you were on the campus, but we somehow didn't meet, right?
I know.
And, right?
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm.
Right. I ended
Yeah.
up going out to dinner with Ann Gaiman. You know, we had a great time.
Oh,
And
yeah,
but I wish we had met, and we hadn't met that time. And then today, right before we went on air, you said to me, "Oh, did you get your contract for Lilydale?" What? What?
I know.
That's so funny. And then we also have the Hay House connection as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes, we do. Yes, we're both
Right.
by Hay House.
Yeah, but it's not like, you know somebody personally just because, even though it is a family, it's we don't necessarily cross paths because we have the same publisher. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and a lot of people think that that's the case, but it really isn't. So,
not.
Yeah, I get it. But so it's nice to meet you.
You too, after all of these lifetimes. So I love to hear more about your story. I know everybody would like to hear more. If you'd like to share, when did you discover that you were a medium?
Well, just like most people, I guess it wasn't really a discovery that I went out to find. To me, it was normal that I spoke to dead people. I thought, wow, I speak to dead. This is a normal thing, and my grandmother had done it before. And she had said to me years prior, you're going to continue with my gift. And I thought, I don't speak to dead people. In fact, I don't want to. Oh, my gosh, no, I want to be a singer. And before I knew it, obviously, she had passed away, and I started to have visions and see things. But I had always done this. I figured that it was a normal thing for everybody. So when it came about and, people started saying, you're a bit weird, that's strange, that doesn't happen, I kind of thought about it. I thought, you know what, that's true. And so really I think I fell into mediumship as most people do in a roundabout sort of fashion, and I wasn't expecting to be a medium, and I never set out to be a medium, as most of us don't. So it was kind of a scary little process, but I love it now. Gosh, I wouldn't be without it.
But did you do the thing like a lot of other people? Did you have a more traditional career path? Maybe I had a guest on the show, James Van Prague's sister, a couple of weeks ago, and she worked for the airlines. Well, I thought, well, in a way, that's sort of a preparation. You're already in the sky, in the spirit. But she just had a traditional kind of career path. Did you do that for a while before you became a full-time medium?
Yeah, at the time I had been, I guess I had been everything, actually. I'd been a singer, I had been, I had done, worked in sales, and I was also in sales and marketing. I did some design work. So I'd done a lot of stuff. And it really wasn't something I was expecting to go into. And it all happened because a friend of mine said, I'm having terrible trouble with my boyfriend. And immediately I came out with some stuff about him. I thought, oh, gosh. And she said, wow. And she happened to be a hairdresser. And she actually said to me, she said, I know someone who wants a reading. I went, I don't do readings. And she said, yes, you go out and you're charging £20. And in fact, I booked you someone next week. And I was like, what? So
she was your manager.
Kinda, yeah. It was weird, and so before I knew it, I'd started doing readings, and something had to give. As when you're in that space, something really did have to give, and Spirit just completely took my normal work, which I was in sales and marketing at that point, away from me. And before I know it, I'm losing my job, thinking, what am I going to do? And then I find myself as being a medium, doing my work that I've been doing in the evenings all day. And I thought, I can't earn a living doing this. This is not people want. And obviously they did. And then the next thing I know, I'm on a plane to LA and TV show, the whole thing. It's kind of crazy. That's how it
Now,
went.
when was that? What year was that when that happened?
Wow. So I came over to LA in 2004, just by a chance meeting, and I was sick. I'd been severely ill, and then I had to stay for an extra 10 days, and it was in those extra 10 days that I shouldn't have been in the country that I ended up meeting Merv Griffin. And so that was 2004, and then the show came about in 2006, and so it's been on the air. It was on the air for a couple of years, and that was 10 years ago now. I can't believe it.
I know. Yeah, 2006 was the year that Jean left his body, and my husband Jean, and that's like a blink of an eye. Everything's a blink of an eye,
Yeah,
everything's
crazy.
Yeah. But you moved then. You didn't go back to England, and then you just stayed in LA to do the show, I guess.
Well, I didn't want to move. I'm a bit of a homebody. I didn't really want to move. I had no desire to move. But my parents had just moved to Spain at that point, and I had no reason to be in England. And so when my parents moved and I had the opportunity, we decided at that point, okay, well, we'll go. We'll see what it's about. And I think it was because they were talking second season, third season, and everything else that, I have a son. I had a son at that. Well, I still have a son. I had a son at that point who needed school. So of course I had to start thinking logically, and as a mum, what's best for my kid. And so that's when I decided to stay in LA, and we made that move over, and we came to LA full time. And so that's how that happened. But yeah, I never expected it to be the way that it's panned out. It's been a pretty amazing ride.
Oh yeah. And is your son also graced with the gift?
Not that he would like to admit. Obviously, he's 17, right. And it's a bit weird for him. But he's open to it. He's just had his own probably religious experience. He's part of a religious group, and he goes, to hang out with all of his friends. Of course, they're all in a very religious group of people, and so he went on a camp with this group, and he said, "Mom, oh gosh, I don't know how to tell you this, but Jesus came to visit me." And I said, "That's awesome." And he's like, "What?" And he said, "I wasn't expecting you to say that." I said, "No, this is awesome." And I said that most people feel that because of what I do, that I don't believe. And I said, "No, this is amazing." And he's like, "Oh, wow, you're weird." And so it's...
he sounds like a perfect teenager. But what you're just talking about is that... Yeah, he's great. But a lot of people do think that connecting with spirit is in contradiction with religion or the belief of in God, and that is so incorrect.
Correct, absolutely. And I'm part of a church, and I feel as though it's very important for us to realize that, or for people to realize that we do believe in God. In fact, our principles of my church state that I believe in God. I believe that God is all there is. And in many respects, people don't understand that we do have a very strong connection to religion. And in fact, spiritualism is a religion. And it used to be one of the largest religions in the U.S. many, many years ago. And so I think people there's still a little bit of conflict, and there's still that whole, I don't know whether I should believe, and what the Bible says. So I get it. I truly get it. But I always say, and it's funny because Jehovah's Witnesses taught me a massive lesson. They said, as long as you have a belief, then that should only be what matters, as long as you have a belief. And that's what I stand by now.
I got to say that, Jean was, for most of his life, one of the most famous Jesuit priests. He taught at the Vatican, right? And he was a religious pioneer. Now, I never discussed religion with him during our 30-year time together. And the moment he left his body, that first night back, Lisa, he was quoting a passage to me. And I had no idea what the passage was, right? I go to his priest the next day to prepare the readings for Jean's funeral. Now, mind you, I had never discussed religion with Jean. I never went to church. I was raised by two devoutly atheist Jewish parents, you know. Mm-hmm. The only religion they practiced was religiously hating each other's guts, you know, and mine. So I knew nothing about the Bible or religion. So I say to the priest, my husband was speaking to me, and he's quoting something, and the priest looks at me like, what are you, nuts? He raises his eyebrow like she's lost her marbles. But then when I told him what Jean said, the priest blanched. He crossed himself, and he said to me, dear God, Jamie, at first I did not believe that Jean was speaking to you, but I do now. And then he said, you're quoting an obscure biblical passage from the Communion of Saints. Like I would know, I never read the Bible, right? So it took me a year, Lisa, to understand why he quoted that passage. And I finally gathered that because he was a religious pioneer in his bodily life, he continues to be in his spirit body. And the Communion of Saints is telling us that, and this is the Bible now, he's saying, Jamie, this work of reconnecting people to their loved ones in spirit is not in contrast with what the Bible says, because the Bible tells us in the Communion of Saints that your loved ones in spirit are one with or in communion with God and the saints. And since the Bible says you're supposed to stay in communion or communication with God and the saints, it means the Bible is telling you you're supposed to stay in communion and communication with your loved ones in spirit because they're one with God and the saints. There it is.
Wow, that's awesome.
Is that unbelievable?
That's fantastic. Wow.
I know. So he was basically saying to give us a bridge, right, that we don't have to have this separation. Oh, if you're spiritual, you're a spiritualist, that means you're not God-fearing. He's saying the Bible is telling us to do this. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I
love
it.
that.
I love it. Yeah, me too. And I feel as though there's a lot of people who want to believe, but then are fearful because they've been brought up in a certain religion, and they fear their belief. I mean, I have to say, my boyfriend and the in-laws were up at the weekend, and they are very, very religious, and of course she came and stayed in Lilydale, and I don't think she knew what she was getting into. Of course, she wasn't really involved in Lilydale as much. She just stayed here. But it was very interesting how when we were talking about it, and when I was talking about church and prayer circles and how we pray and God, I just feel as though she, I feel as though she completely sort of like was like, wow, and where she was initially frowning, now I feel as though she, has a bit of an open mind about it. So, I do think that people are not educated, and I'm very passionate about this. I don't feel as though people are educated in the world of spiritualism, and that it's what they think they believe or what they think they know about what we do, when reality is sometimes if you haven't been involved in it, like I hadn't been involved in it before, obviously I did, that I didn't exactly know what it was about. So I do feel as though it's our time now to start educating people. Right,
and I think also we have to debunk some of these false beliefs that block people, like this fear of, you're opening the door to the devil. You know, that one. That is
I know.
Terrifying. Right?
Oh, yeah.
That one is really horrendous. Yeah.
It is horrendous. And I often have these conversations. I'm like, but why would you feel that, or why would you think that I would be involved in something like this? And they're like, well, I don't know. And I said, it's not that. We're good people. And I feel as though a lot of people are trying to put fear into them, and with religion and what's going on, and just people don't like change. People don't like change. I say this all the time. People hate change. They want to think that what theirs is right and what they do is right. And I'm not saying it isn't. What I'm saying is open. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion about what they truly want to follow. And I feel that that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think, if we understand that God is love, right, and that our loved ones in spirit are one with God, then reconnecting with our loved ones in spirit is reconnecting with love. And, Jean said to me right after he left his body, well, actually right after he left, the Dalai Lama publicly prayed for him and said he was one of the 50 men of all time who was one with God. So he never talked about devils. When he was in a body, devils didn't even exist because I don't believe there's a devil or dark forces. I mean, maybe there are beings who are less evolved than others, but that's a far cry from devils. And,
exactly.
you know? Hello. And also, I'm a shrink by profession, so I know that we humans don't like the dark side of ourselves. We deny our anger. And when you deny something, it's very easy then to externalize it and say, oh, there's a devil out there that's going to punish me. But really, it's your own unwanted negative feelings that you externalize and personify as a devil. You know?
It's true, and it's what you want to. We overthink things as well, and I often say to people that sometimes we take things to such an extreme that we start to believe our extremes, and we can't. We have to. You know, I've always said that if people want to find the truth, then they should go and seek the truth. They shouldn't believe in what everybody else believes in. It should be a truth-seeking mission of their own. And so this is very true. I mean, it sounds to me like you had an amazing husband and still have that amazing husband. But it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Well, really, you know, Lisa, think about it. I'm this devoutly atheist Jewish girl. And the next thing I know, he tells me my first night back from Italy, after he left his body from the bee sting, he goes, you can't give up, you can't die. We have so much work left to do in our ministry. I'm like, ministry? Wow. I'm an atheist. What are you talking? And the next thing you know, it's crazy, right? He's just making manifestations right and left, lights on and off. I capture all of these manifestations, these over-the-top things on film, and I'm thinking, what is this about? And then he says to me, Jamie, let our love shine like a torch that lights the path for others. And that was it. I realized, right? He's calling me to show others how to reconnect and then, of course, heal their unfinished business because, you know, I don't know anybody who doesn't have unfinished business with someone in spirit. So it's sort of bringing my work as a shrink to the world of, you know, after-death communication. So he just gave me this. And, it, you know, you realize, I'm sure you see, like, remember how you said you were sick? Everything happens for a reason. You were sick so that you would stay there, so you would meet Merv. It's like, it's all written, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's all written, and there's definitely a plan, and sometimes we just don't know what the plan is, and we just have to surrender. And this is what I was talking about actually in church last night, because I was chairing the church. And that we sometimes have to surrender into that space and not know, and we do have to let it go. I love that movie Frozen. But we have to let go. We have to completely surrender into that place. And when people say, I'm surrendering, I'm like, you're surrendering, but the what if? And it should be a complete surrender, but maybe not. And I'm like, no. Just completely give it up. Let go of control, let go of anything. And allow Spirit or God or whatever it is to completely guide you in the way that you need to go. Because everybody has a different pathway. Everyone has a different pathway. And it's not the same for everyone. You know, everyone is going to be doing something differently. And so what works for one is not going to work for another person. So therefore, who are we to judge anybody else? And who are we to say, oh, well, that's not right, or that's wrong? We shouldn't, because reality is they're on a totally different pathway, and what is right for them is right for them, and it's okay. And I think we live in a whole world of control freaks, quite frankly, and so sometimes we just have to give it up.
Absolutely. I don't know where you've been all my life, because you and I are like we're soul sisters. We're just on the same mission, the same, and you know, I say we, especially in the Western world, are deifying the ego. Like, I'm in control, and I can substitute my will to the will of God or fate. It creates so much misery, and it's an illusion. Let's just take a break. We'll be back in a moment on Love Never Dies Radio.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
Are you searching for a way to help create global change? Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's vision is to have an eclectic group of radio hosts dedicated to educating, enlightening, and helping humankind with positive messages and tools that enhance lives using different modalities and programs. If you would like to join our team and help illuminate the universe, call Deborah at 508-226-1723 or Deborah at dreamvision7radio.com.
Are you ready for the quantum age?
Humanity's next step in evolution?
Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you to the extraordinary platform of evolutionary voices for the quantum age.
Let's explore. Learn more about this upcoming age where we bridge science with spirituality.
Where potentiality meets reality.
Where we take compassion into action.
Our trailblazers and visionaries will ask the whys, the what-ifs, while igniting continuous possibility.
Come along with us into an age beyond what we know today, where we can grow together in unity consciousness.
Experience evolutionary voices for the quantum age, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern on DreamVision7Radio.com.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you yearn to get along better with your life partner or spouse, friends, family members, and even coworkers, Dr. Turndorf's book, Kiss Your Fights Goodbye, Dr. Love's 10 Simple Steps to Cooling Conflict and Rekindling Your Relationship, shows you how to turn conflict into connection for a lifetime of lasting love. Find out more about Kiss Your Fights Goodbye at AskDrLove.com. This is Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. This show is for you, the listener. Once again, here's Dr. Turndorf.
Hello again and welcome back to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf and I'm having a wonderful chat with internationally renowned medium Lisa Williams. Lisa, I'm so glad that we're spending time together today. It's like, I feel like we're sort of having a sleepover party, two girls,
fun.
We're having a great time. So we said we were going to talk about developing intuitive gifts, and I know this is what you devote your career to. In addition to doing readings, you have workshops and online classes, and of course through your school. So would you talk a little bit about this?
Well, yeah, sure. I feel that obviously I've developed a school and I developed certain techniques that I use, and I'm very straightforward in the way that I work. I don't like to pussyfoot around anybody, and I want to, I try to be very direct and make sure that we all get to our potential. But, I feel as though everybody has this gift. Everybody has the ability to connect, whether it's them to connect with themselves, to connect with their loved ones, but connecting with their own intuition, their own thoughts, their own pathway, because it's their pathway that's important. And as we were talking, it's about finding your pathway, it's about finding your truth. And I think a lot of the time it's about helping people have the courage to speak up and helping people have the courage to, hey, you know what, it's okay that you do this. It's okay for you to trust your instincts. It's okay for you to believe in past lives. It's okay for you to believe in, your loved ones are still with us. And so that's the reason why, you're right, I have devoted my life to it, because I'm just so passionate, because I was very blessed to find my, calling in life, and I was very blessed to find it at a young age. I mean, I'm 44 now, but I've been doing it for a long time, so I feel very blessed, and I feel as though people, sometimes they miss it for themselves, and it goes back to that fear. It's about them having courage to understand that it's okay to realize that there's something else out there. There's something bigger than what we are.
Absolutely. And so can you give Can you give a little explanation to people about how you mentor in your school?
Sure. I mean, I mentor in various different ways. There's lots of online packages that people can go and do, and they can learn on their own, because a lot of people don't want to be driven driven along with a group, or some people don't have time to follow a certain curriculum. We all lead very, very, very busy lives, and so I try to make it as really adaptable for everybody. So I have obviously online classes. I then have a lot of classes where people can just do at their own time. I have classes that people can come and learn with another group, or that they can go to big workshops. I also do individual stuff, so I also teach and mentor many, many people. So there's a lot of things, and now I have a group of master teachers, which are teachers that I've taught around the world who have their own expertise. They have their own expertise. So while I may not be an expert on angels, I know someone who is. And so I've created this school where we're able to help everybody find something that they want to learn with passion. And the teachers are very, very passionate. And as many people know, that when we've been teaching something for so long, teachers are very, very passionate. And as many people know, that when we've been teaching something for so long, some people lose the passion. The passion's gone, or it's not quite there anymore. But these teachers are passionate, and it's important for me to make sure that they stay passionate. So if they're bored of teaching one subject, we move on to the next, and we keep it fresh for them. So therefore, the students are continually learning how to work, and with teachers who are very passionate about what they're talking about, their subjects.
Marvelous. Lisa, we have a caller on the line. Would you like to take the caller?
Sure. By all means.
It seems like a good moment for us to break and have a little chat with our guest. Hello, you're on the air with Dr. Jamie Turndorf, and this is Love Never Dies. And what is your name? Hello? I'd like to take the caller, please. To my dear engineer, I'm saying yes, let's take this call. Hello? All right, well, look, for whatever reason, the engineer is having difficulty getting the caller back on with me. Oh, he said that they're not speaking. So my dear caller from Chicago, Lisa and I can try to tune into you energetically, but it would be easier if you speak.
You can speak, yeah.
This is testing our psychic medium abilities too much. Yeah. Lisa, we never had to do this before, right?
Absolutely, I know. A lot of people think that because you're psychic, they think, well, you should know what I'm thinking about. I'm like, actually, no, I really don't want to invade your thoughts, and quite frankly,
exactly. Exactly. It's like, no, that's why God gave you a tongue and teeth and a mouth, so you got to speak. Mm-hmm. So if you decide that you want to speak, then my engineer will tell us, and then you'll come back in another moment. What comes through, Lisa, when you talk is your passion. You have incredible passion.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
big time passion.
It's my life work. It's something I'm very passionate about, helping people find their truth, helping people find their truth in purpose. Because I feel as though I searched for years. I really did. I just feel as though I searched for years, and I struggled to try and find my purpose, and then suddenly I stumble across this, and I think, no, this is not what I'm supposed to do. And before I know it, yes, it is. And I'm very blessed. I feel very, very blessed, as I'm sure a lot of us are in this work. Don't get me wrong, it's hard work. Wow, it is hard work, because we do carry a lot of responsibility in many ways. But I would not be without it. at all. I just feel very, very blessed that I have this gift.
Absolutely. It's such a gift, and it's really, don't you feel, I bet you feel what I feel every time you help someone reconnect with a loved one in spirit. I describe it like being bathed in gold, dipped in gold, because the love pours on you too, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean. Absolutely. One of the common things I say to my clients is, gosh, I struggle putting these words, my emotions into words right now. And sometimes sound effects are the only way. So I have to go, oh, and they laugh at me because that's how it feels. It's like this overwhelming, like, oh, gosh, of love that I have. And it's remarkable. I mean, I'm very blessed to do it. But you know what the beautiful thing is? And I love it. I fall in love with a stranger every single day. I fall in love with a stranger every day. I know it sounds weird, but because in that moment I am feeling the love of someone I didn't know, and someone who is passionate, and someone who is trying to get their emotions through, and it's just remarkable. And so I'm very blessed. I honor that, and I'm very, very blessed.
Absolutely. So now, are you mostly in your school teaching the mediumship skills to other people who want to work as mediums, or are you teaching it to lay people who just want to bring the ability into their lives?
You know, I'll do everything. I feel as though it's very important for us to, for me especially, to focus on people who also haven't got this natural ability and struggle with the ability and want it so much. So I do help people who aren't really interested in communicating with other people's loved ones, but they want to connect for themselves. So I do very much try and help them. So I try to cover various different things, and there's different workshops around wherever I work, all around the world actually, and I cover as much as I can. So I do focus on those who don't normally communicate with spirit. And then I love teaching those advanced students who are in the same place as me, passionate about other, connecting, but might want to learn a little bit more, or might want to just hone in their ability a little bit more. So I try to have a very diverse program for everybody.
That's marvelous. I often talk to people, and I think this would be interesting for you and me to have a chat about this one question that people don't talk about a lot. I do the Love Never Dies retreat where people attend live and remotely, and I help them to use my transdimensional grief resolution method to heal their unfinished business. And I had this PhD in psych, Dr. Joe was his name, and he was on my porch, and he was very angry with his father in spirit, and he kept saying, "You won't talk to me, you won't talk to me." And what came through, as we began the dialogue with his dad, was that his father was coming through to him and attempting to love him and reassure him of his presence using his father's preferred method of communicating. And that what came through to me was Dad was showing me in, mental images. He was putting his arm around my client, and he was patting him. He was giving him physical demonstration of love, but he wasn't talking. And and I said, "You're trying to get him to talk, which is not his preferred way of communicating," and it never was his preferred way of communicating. And then he said, "That's true. Dad never did speak, even when he was, in a body." So the spirits themselves often help you identify who they are just by the preferred way of communicating, right? I'm sure you noticed this.
I agree, and I actually say to people, and it goes back to our love languages. Sometimes we need to hear things. Sometimes we need to feel things. Sometimes we need to be appreciated in our way. But it's not always the way that another people understand. And so I always say that Spirit's going to come through how you remember them to be. So if all of a sudden someone starts declaring their undying love for you, and it was not something that they would have done, "Are you going to believe me?" And they go, "Well, actually, no, probably not." I said, "Exactly." So they're going to come through how you remember them. And then once we've established that, and you've established that I've got a connection, then they'll start talking, and then they'll start communicating, and then they'll start saying, hey, I love you. And they go, oh, yeah. So, you know, you with your friend, it's very common. I mean, I think that's, again, the misconception of mediumship is the fact that they come through exactly how you want them to come through. Well, they're not going to. They come through how they need to come through, how they want to be remembered, but a lot of how you remember them. So, you know, they're not going to come through in that way. So, I mean, it's beautiful that you actually gave him that connection and was able to explain it to him. I think that's fabulous.
Absolutely. It was very healing for him because he was then able to reconnect to his dad and all the anger dissipated. It's like, yes, my dad is loving me through Dad's preferred way of communicating. Yeah. Let's just take a break. We'll be back in a moment on Love Never Dies Radio.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
Are you searching for a way to help create global change? Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's vision is to have an eclectic group of radio hosts dedicated to educating, enlightening, and helping humankind with positive messages and tools that enhance lives using different modalities and programs. If you would like to join our team and help illuminate the universe, call Deborah at 508-226-1723 or Deborah at dreamvision7radio.com.
Kids for Love. It's a project, a mission, and a radio show, and it's on the Dream Vision 7 radio network. Come join Deborah Beauvais and young co-hosts every Wednesday at 4 p.m. and 4 a.m. Eastern to celebrate kids making a difference. We invite kids to share stories of those helping others, and teachers can share new school programs that are creating harmony amongst the kids. Let's raise the bar together and cultivate a kinder world. Kids for Love Project, celebrating kids who are helping others.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you can't stop crying over the bodily loss of a loved one, Dr. Turndorf's #1 international bestseller, Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased, will show you how to toss out the tissues and transform your grief into joy using her groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique that enables you to reconnect and even heal unfinished business with those in spirit without the assistance of a medium, channeler, or psychic. Sign up for Dr. Love's free newsletter at AskDrLove.com and receive an exciting gift, a free excerpt of Love Never Dies. And now, back to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf.
Hello again, and welcome back to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, having a wonderful conversation with my dear old new sister, Lisa Williams, internationally renowned psychic medium. So, Lisa, have I told you lately that I love you?
Oh my gosh, it's awesome to actually be here and find that kindred vibe, that kindred spirit of connection. It's quite amazing.
Isn't it awesome? And I can feel Jean is just so happy that we finally connected, you know?
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yeah.
And you are coming to Lilydale, so in the summer.
I know, you told me before we went on air, so. What did she say? You know, she said, I'm looking at your picture for the... what are you talking That was so fun. And, you know, there's no mistakes. I didn't get the email, so it was meant to be that you would tell me before the show, right?
Yeah. How funny. Absolutely. How funny. Quite amazing.
Yeah. So what do you have going on right now? What are you working on at this point?
Well, I'm writing another book. I'm writing actually two. One on soulmates, and also one is just for some reason I automatic write, and I get a lot of messages in a channeled form. So I'm writing a book that I am just completely channeling. So that is Messages from the Masters. That's a kind of a working title. Both are coming out next year at some point. So I have that going on. I'm off to Australia next week again. I seem to be spending a lot of time in Australia recently. So I'm off to Australia to do retreats and the Mind, Body and Spirit Expo and various different things. And then, and then we start next year, and then it all starts again with, Lilydale, Omega, and all sorts of other stuff. But this weekend I'm focusing on forensic mediumship in Lilydale. So I'm teaching forensic mediumship about how to work with the law enforcement and bring the two modalities together, because I do feel as though it's an untapped area that not many people use, certainly when you've got missing people or, there's a lot of questions about someone's death. So I do a lot of forensic work, and it's something I love and I've been doing for years. So I'm now starting to teach a lot of courses on that. So that's kind of what's going on. I feel very busy at the moment.
You are. You don't just feel busy. You are busy.
Yeah, I know.
It's real. They say this is all a big illusion, but there's no illusion here. You're busy.
No, I'm busy. Yeah, and I'm putting together the next year's brochure for Lilydale as well. So I actually put that together myself. I actually create and design that, because I don't create it single-handedly. I mean, we have a team, but I certainly create the brochure and design the brochure. So, it's something I love doing and I'm very passionate about. So, yeah, I kind of get involved in a lot of stuff.
When I was up at Lilydale last year, I fell in love with the place, Lisa.
Yeah.
It to me was like, it felt like a sort of a miniature Cape May, just perfectly preserved Victorian community.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a dream.
It is, and I love it. I mean, it takes some getting used to. I used to live in LA, so it takes some getting used to. But obviously the winters are brutal, I will tell you now.
I was wondering about that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I ski and I snowmobile, and so I do a lot of stuff to kind of get me out of that and enjoying it. But it's amazing place. I mean, the people are fantastic. I'm very blessed to be part of this community. I feel like honored that they actually took me on, and then now they want me as vice president, which is like crazy. So I'm very blessed, and I do feel that, I always say that Lilydale is one of these places that you can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. It's like the old Eagles song. It really is, that you can check out any time you like and never leave, because you take a piece of Lilydale with you, and it is so quaint, and you have to get used to living in the old rustic houses. You really do, because they're there and things happen and things need repairing a lot of the time, but it is quite incredible. So I'm very, very blessed.
When you say you can check out any time you like, but you can't leave, I thought you were describing what happens when we leave our bodies.
Well, that's exactly another thing. That's a whole thing. Yeah, exactly. And it's like Lilydale. As they say, there's a documentary on Lilydale that happened a couple of years ago, and it says no one dies in Lilydale. So I feel like that's exactly the case.
And I think that's true for all of us, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It is. Yeah. We never die. We never die. We just move on to a different need, a different plane, a different, perception, a different earthly connection. And so, yeah, I mean, it's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. And the work that we do is just it's so beautiful, and it's so... it's just, I don't know, I just have to explain. I just love what I do, and I feel that we really do give absolutely so much, a gift. It's an absolute gift to those who need it. So, and I was just listening to some of your little commercials around this, and amazing work that you're doing. So it's just bringing people to life and bringing that life back to people and helping them reconnect. So I think it's fabulous.
Right, and then I'm also doing, because like I said, I'm a shrink, and I've devoted my life to resolving conflict. I mean, they say shrinks come from the craziest families, let's just say. So, right. I mean, I earned an honorary doctorate when I was still in diapers, a doctorate in conflict resolution, trying to mediate my parents' fights. But I became, just like this was my passion, to help people resolve conflicts. And then it was a natural progression to help people resolve their conflicts with those in spirit, because the Western grief method, the Western way of handling grief is grieve, let go, move on, and do it in 6 months, or we're going to give you psychiatric labels and drugs and all this. And I know mediums are not therapists, so I'm kind of bridging the gap here. It's like spiritual relationship therapy, if you want.
It's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, I have I recently became a mother again to a 14-year-old daughter who lost her mum, and we're not, as a medium, I'm not licensed, but just being able to listen and just being able to give her some hope and, hey, mum's okay, and oh, by the way, she's just heard what you just said, I feel as though what we're actually doing is we are bridging the gap, and we are able to help people heal. And that healing is what everybody craves, whether they like it or not. People will say, oh, I don't need healing. But certainly in Britain, it's like that stiff upper lip. I don't need it. Probably you need it more than most.
Yeah, really. And we may have to give it to you in an enema if you're not going to take it voluntarily.
Exactly. And so it is hard. And so people, again, it's that ego. We get so tainted by the ego and, oh, I don't need this, I'm fine, where it's okay to admit that you're not. And actually it's okay to admit, hey, I need some help. And so I don't feel as though enough people reach out enough and say, hey, I actually need some help, can you help me? So I think it's fantastic that you're giving people the opportunity to do that, and do it in a safe environment.
Absolutely. So tell everybody how to reach you. What's the best, people want to know more and join in on your online courses or your workshops, your classes, everything. Let everybody know the easiest way to connect with you.
Well, the easiest way to connect with me, I mean, obviously I'm on social media and everything else. I mean, but I always say go to my website, which is lisawilliams.com, nice and easy, and obviously connect with me that way. I am very much active on Facebook and other areas of social media. The school address is lwissd.com, but again, you can find it from lisawilliams.com. So just go to my website, and that's probably the easiest place that they can find me from.
That's marvelous. And if you wanted to leave everybody who was listening to your wonderful interview today with a parting piece of wisdom, what would you want people to know?
I always get asked that, and I feel here that, when we pass, there's a lot of healing that takes place. There's a lot of healing, and I feel as though sometimes many people don't have the opportunity to have the healing on this earth plane. And so if ever there's a conflict, whenever we hit conflict, because let's face it, we're going to in our life, it's about healing it there and then. It's about confronting things. It's about really owning who we are and taking responsibility. And so don't let things go until someone passes. Pick up the phone, make amends, make a call, just check in. Hey, how are you? I've been thinking about you. And just let things go. It is about letting go and being who you are. We're all going to have differences, but just let go and let's just make peace. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned, certainly in this work, is to let go and be peace.
That's beautiful, isn't it? Because really, the thing is, that's this work. I really believe this work can create world peace.
Yeah, I do. And
I really believe that.
I feel that too, and people say, oh, that's such a big thing that you're thinking. I'm like, no. If we can come from that space and that heart space without the anger, we can really, really come together and make a great deal of amends.
Absolutely. And you know, what I love also, when you reconnect with your loved ones in spirit and you take care of healing the unfinished business, I use the image of like peeling leeches off, and every time you take another leech off and all that poison goes away, now you are able to have a more pure, unconflicted relationship with your loved one in spirit, and your loved one in spirit can become a guide to you, really helping you to fulfill your ultimate life purpose, fulfill your destiny, heal in mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And so it's like really bringing you to a greater place of love, because again, our loved ones in spirit are love. And so if we allow them to pour that incredible love that they are abiding in the afterlife, and they fill us with this love, now we become an overflowing well of love that we can bring to everyone we touch and bring to the world. So that's how we create a love revolution, you know?
That's right. That's exactly right. And it's beautiful. And when people fully grasp it and they start to live it, then it's remarkable what can change, how we can actually change what we feel. And it's okay. And I have to always say to people, it's okay to change your viewpoint. It's okay to change how you feel from what you once thought. So, and that's our ego. And I always say to people, let go of what you used to think. Allow yourself to be open to new ideas.
Well, Lisa, I am open to all the new ideas you're presenting and our new beautiful friendship. And so I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm going to say I'll see you soon. And we'll talk soon.
Yes, you will.
See you soon on Love Never Dies. And it was wonderful having you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. Is your heart still hurting over the bodily loss of your loved one? The reason is simple. We're not meant to be separated from those we love. And reconnecting is the only solution. But reconnecting and staying connected requires guidance. That's why Dr. Turndorf has created her exclusive members-only Love Club, a private, intimate, and loving online group where she'll personally guide you to reestablish your relationship with your loved one in spirit and even resolve any issues that remain. If you're ready to discover the healing and joy of reconnecting, visit AskDrLove.com/The Love Club and apply for a seat. But don't wait. To keep the group intimate, seats are limited. Visit AskDrLove.com/The Love Club and request to join today. That's AskDrLove.com/The Love Club.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.